Your soulmate is ready to reveal the truth they've hidden for so long. Please listen carefully. Don't scroll, listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. If these words have found you today, it is not by accident. There are moments in life when heaven interrupts the ordinary because something extraordinary is about to unfold, and this is one of those moments. Before you question why you clicked on this message, before you tell yourself it is just another video, pause for a second and simply listen. Your soul recognized this message long before your eyes ever saw it. There has been a quiet movement taking place behind the scenes of your life, one you couldn't see and one you couldn't force into existence no matter how hard you tried. While you were wondering why certain prayers seemed unanswered, why certain doors remained closed, and why someone you couldn't fully forget continued to live inside your heart, the universe was preparing a revelation that could only arrive at the perfect moment. Today is not random. Today is connected to every tear you've cried, every silent prayer you've whispered, every night you stared at the ceiling asking God if the connection you felt was real. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate is standing closer to the truth than they have ever been before. For a long time they have carried something inside them that they never found the courage to say. It wasn't because they didn't care. It wasn't because they forgot you. It wasn't because destiny abandoned your connection. The truth remained hidden because their spirit was still growing into the person they were meant to become. Sometimes heaven delays a conversation because both hearts must be prepared before the words can heal instead of hurt. You have mistaken the silence for rejection, but in the spiritual realm, silence often means preparation. While you believed nothing was happening, countless invisible details were shifting into place. Angels were protecting what you couldn't protect. Divine timing was correcting what human timing could never fix. Every disappointment you've experienced has quietly redirected you toward this very moment. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. There is a reason you keep thinking about this person even after convincing yourself you should move on. There is a reason certain songs suddenly remind you of them. There is a reason you occasionally wake up with their name on your mind without understanding why. Your soul recognizes frequencies your mind cannot explain. The universe speaks in whispers long before it speaks through events. Have you been noticing repeating numbers lately? Maybe you've looked at the clock exactly at 11:11 more times than you can count. Maybe 222 keeps appearing on receipts, license plates, or random signs. Perhaps 444 has followed you during moments when you felt completely alone. These are not guarantees of a particular outcome, but many people experience repeating numbers as reminders to slow down, reflect, and stay open to hope. Sometimes those moments encourage us to notice what our hearts have been trying to tell us all along. And today, your heart has been asking you to listen instead of fear. Somewhere, your soulmate has reached a crossroads they never expected to face. They have spent months, maybe even years, trying to convince themselves that burying the truth would make life easier. They believed ignoring their deepest feelings would somehow silence them. Instead, those feelings only became louder. Every distraction eventually lost its power. Every attempt to replace what they felt left them emptier than before. They discovered something that many people never admit out loud: the heart cannot be negotiated with forever. Eventually, truth demands to be heard. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. There are nights when they suddenly stop in the middle of everything they're doing and think about you without warning. They wonder if you're happy. They wonder if you've forgotten them. They wonder whether destiny still remembers the promise they once felt but never fully understood. Even when life became busy, even when responsibilities filled every hour, your energy somehow continued finding its way into their thoughts. They tried explaining it logically. They tried dismissing it as coincidence. Yet every explanation eventually fell apart because what they were experiencing reached beyond ordinary understanding. Sometimes the strongest connections are the ones that quietly shape us from the inside, encouraging us to become more honest, more compassionate, and more willing to face what we've avoided. This season has been changing them in ways they never expected. The walls they spent years building around their heart have begun to crack. Pride has become heavier than vulnerability. Fear has become more exhausting than honesty. They are realizing that pretending no longer protects them. It only delays peace. And while this transformation has been happening inside them, something remarkable has also been happening inside you. You have become stronger than the version of yourself that first met this connection. The pain that once threatened to break you has slowly been turning into wisdom. The waiting that once felt unbearable has taught you resilience. Even on days when you believed nothing was changing, your spirit was quietly growing. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Heaven often works on both hearts at the same time, even when they are miles apart. While one person is learning courage, the other is learning patience. While one is discovering honesty, the other is discovering faith. While one is preparing to speak, the other is preparing to receive. That is why timing matters more than urgency. Had this truth arrived too early, it might have been misunderstood. Had it arrived too late, it might have been ignored. But something has shifted in the spiritual atmosphere. The season of silence is beginning to lose its power. You may have noticed subtle changes in your own life. Maybe you felt unusually emotional without knowing why. Maybe you've sensed peace after months of confusion. Maybe certain opportunities have unexpectedly opened while others quietly disappeared. Sometimes the closing of one chapter is simply making room for another that has been waiting patiently in the background. The universe has a remarkable way of clearing unnecessary noise before an important message arrives. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. Imagine standing before a sunrise after believing the night would never end. The darkness doesn't disappear because someone forced it away. It disappears because the light arrives at exactly the right moment. That is what this season resembles. You have spent so much time looking for evidence outside yourself that you almost overlooked the quiet confidence growing within you. You have survived disappointments that once felt impossible. You have healed wounds you thought would stay open forever. You have learned to keep believing even when certainty felt far away. Those lessons were not wasted. They were preparing you for what comes next. Your soulmate has reached a point where hiding the truth costs more than revealing it. They are beginning to understand that authenticity creates freedom, while fear only creates distance. Every day they carry this truth without speaking it, the weight becomes heavier. They can feel that something significant is approaching, even if they cannot fully explain it. Perhaps you've sensed something similar. Perhaps you've had an unshakable feeling that life is quietly building toward a turning point. Those inner impressions often invite us to pay attention rather than rush ahead. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. There is a quiet invitation being placed before both of you, not an invitation to control the future, but to meet it with openness instead of fear. Whether the next conversation comes tomorrow or later than expected, the most meaningful preparation happens within. Hope becomes stronger when it is rooted in peace instead of panic. Love becomes healthier when it is grounded in honesty instead of fantasy. Destiny is not simply about finding the right person, it is also about becoming the right version of yourself when the moment arrives. And that is exactly what heaven has been doing through every challenge you've faced. Even the chapters you wished had never happened have shaped the compassion, wisdom, and strength you now carry. Nothing has been entirely lost. Every lesson has become part of the foundation beneath your feet. Every delay has refined your perspective. Every unanswered question has quietly pointed you toward deeper trust. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. The next few days may feel different. You may notice your intuition becoming clearer. You may feel drawn to moments of stillness instead of constant distraction. You may find yourself remembering conversations, dreams, or small details that once seemed insignificant. Stay attentive without becoming anxious. Stay hopeful without trying to force an outcome. Let gratitude become louder than fear. Let faith become stronger than doubt. And above all, remember this: the truth that has been hidden for so long is no longer comfortable remaining in the shadows. Something is awakening. Something is shifting. Something is preparing to step into the light. But before that truth can finally be spoken, one final spiritual confirmation is about to appear, one that neither you nor your soulmate will be able to ignore. And when that sign arrives, everything you believed was only a distant hope may suddenly begin to feel astonishingly real. Don't scroll, listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. If you are still here, then your spirit already knows there is more to this story than what your eyes have been able to see. The silence you have been living through was never empty. It was filled with unseen conversations taking place in the spiritual realm, moments where fear and faith stood face to face, where your soulmate wrestled with emotions they could no longer outrun. For so long they convinced themselves that hiding the truth would protect everyone involved. They believed that if they buried their feelings deeply enough, life would eventually become simple again. But the heart has a way of remembering what the mind tries to erase. Every time they thought they had finally moved on, something unexpectedly brought your energy back into their world. It happened through ordinary moments that suddenly became extraordinary. A familiar song played in the middle of a busy afternoon. A stranger smiled in a way that reminded them of you. A place they hadn't visited in years suddenly filled their thoughts. They kept asking themselves why your presence refused to disappear, and every answer they invented only led them back to the same conclusion: they had been running from a truth that refused to stay hidden. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Heaven sometimes allows distance not to separate two souls forever but to reveal what truly lives inside each heart. During this season apart, your soulmate has been changing in ways they never expected. The version of them that once chose fear over honesty is slowly disappearing. Every disappointment they experienced has become a teacher. Every closed door has forced them to ask deeper questions. Every lonely evening has become a mirror reflecting the life they truly want instead of the life they settled for. They have begun to understand that pretending to be happy is not the same as living with peace. They have realized that no amount of success, attention, or distraction can silence a soul that longs for authenticity. There comes a moment in every spiritual journey when comfort is no longer enough, when the universe gently whispers, "You cannot keep living half of your truth." That whisper has become impossible for them to ignore. They feel it in quiet mornings before anyone else wakes up. They feel it during late-night hours when the world grows still. They feel it every time they remember the connection that changed something inside them forever. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. Perhaps you have noticed changes within yourself too. Maybe you've become less interested in chasing answers and more interested in protecting your peace. Maybe you've started trusting your intuition instead of constantly searching for proof. Growth often feels strange because it happens gradually, almost invisibly, until one day you realize you are no longer reacting the way you used to. That transformation has not gone unnoticed. The strength you built during your hardest moments has become part of your spiritual foundation. While you believed you were simply surviving another difficult chapter, heaven was quietly preparing you to receive something that requires a stronger heart than the one you once had. The waiting has not been meaningless. The tears have not been wasted. Even your moments of doubt have shaped your compassion and your wisdom. Sometimes the greatest miracle is not that circumstances suddenly change, it is that you become someone capable of embracing the change when it finally arrives. Your soulmate has been experiencing a similar awakening. Their old fears are beginning to lose their grip. The excuses that once sounded convincing no longer satisfy their spirit. They are starting to see that avoiding vulnerability has cost them more than honesty ever could. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. There are signs surrounding this connection that deserve your attention, not because they predict the future with certainty, but because they encourage you to remain awake to what is unfolding within. Have you noticed repeating numbers appearing during meaningful moments? Perhaps you glance at the clock and see 2:22 just as you begin thinking about them. Maybe 5:55 appears during a day filled with unexpected change. Perhaps 7 hours 77 minutes is impossible on a clock, yet 777 seems to appear everywhere else, reminding you that hope still has a place in your journey. Many people experience these patterns as gentle invitations to pause, breathe, and remember that life often contains layers of meaning we cannot immediately explain. Whether you see them as spiritual symbols or simple reminders to stay present, let them encourage you rather than control you. The greatest sign is not outside you, it is the quiet peace growing within you. That peace is becoming stronger because your spirit senses movement before your circumstances reveal it. Somewhere, your soulmate has begun asking questions they were once too afraid to ask. What if they misunderstood their own heart? What if the person they kept trying to forget was actually the one who helped them become who they are today? What if fear has stolen enough time already? These questions are echoing louder with each passing day. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. There is something remarkable about divine timing. It rarely announces itself with dramatic fireworks. More often, it arrives through quiet clarity. One ordinary day becomes unforgettable because a single realization changes everything. That realization has begun forming inside your soulmate. They are recognizing patterns they ignored before. They are remembering conversations they once dismissed. They are beginning to understand why every path they took eventually seemed to circle back toward thoughts of you. This realization has not brought instant certainty, instead, it has brought humility. They are learning that love is not about pride. It is not about always being right. It is not about winning an argument or protecting an image. Love requires honesty, and honesty asks for courage. That courage is growing inside them one small decision at a time. Heaven does not always transform people in one dramatic moment. Sometimes it changes them through hundreds of quiet moments until they suddenly realize they are no longer the person they used to be. That is exactly what has been happening. The walls around their heart are becoming doors. The fears that once imprisoned them are beginning to lose their voice. And with every passing day, the hidden truth feels heavier to carry and easier to reveal. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. You may wonder why this message is reaching you before anything has happened outwardly. The answer is simple. Your spirit is being prepared before your circumstances change. Preparation is one of heaven's greatest gifts because it allows peace to arrive before answers do. If every blessing appeared without preparation, many people would not recognize it when it came. That is why this season has invited you to slow down, to trust, and to release the pressure of trying to control every outcome. The future does not need your panic. It needs your presence. Your soulmate's journey is unfolding in its own time, just as yours has. Neither path has been perfect, but both have been meaningful. Every lesson has shaped your hearts for a conversation that could not have happened months ago. Today, both of you are becoming people who can hear truth without immediately reacting from fear. That alone is a miracle worth celebrating. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. Imagine standing beside a river after a long winter. For months, everything appeared frozen and still, yet beneath the surface, the current never stopped moving. Spring did not create the movement, it simply revealed what had been happening all along. Your connection has been like that river. From the outside, it seemed quiet, perhaps even forgotten. But beneath the surface, healing continued. Growth continued. Understanding continued. Heaven continued working where human eyes could not see. Now the ice is beginning to melt. The current is becoming visible. The truth is preparing to rise to the surface, and once it does, it cannot return to hiding. Your soulmate has reached the point where silence feels heavier than honesty. They are beginning to understand that whatever happens after the truth is spoken, living authentically is better than spending another season pretending nothing is there. That realization is one of the greatest spiritual breakthroughs a person can experience. It is not simply about romance. It is about freedom. It is about allowing the heart to live without chains. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. As this new chapter approaches, guard your peace carefully. Resist the temptation to let fear invent stories that hope has never written. Continue becoming the person you are proud to be, regardless of what tomorrow holds. Keep choosing kindness over bitterness, faith over despair, gratitude over resentment. These choices strengthen your spirit far more than you realize. They create room for blessings to be received with wisdom instead of confusion. And remember this above everything else: not every delay is a denial. Sometimes a delay is simply the space where healing quietly finishes its work. The season ahead carries the feeling of a door that has remained closed for a very long time but is now beginning to unlock. Don't scroll, listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. If you've made it this far, something inside you is searching for more than answers, it is searching for peace. Maybe you've spent countless nights wondering whether the connection you felt was real or simply a beautiful dream that refused to fade. Maybe you've questioned your own heart because time continued moving forward while certain memories refused to stay behind. Listen carefully. Whether you see this as a meaningful reflection, a moment of encouragement, or simply a story that speaks to your soul, allow these words to settle gently into your heart. There are seasons in life when everything appears unchanged on the outside while profound transformation is quietly unfolding within. Your soulmate's journey has entered one of those seasons. The person who once hid behind uncertainty is beginning to recognize that avoiding the truth has never brought lasting peace. They have discovered that every attempt to silence their heart only made its voice stronger. What they once believed they could ignore has become impossible to overlook. And while they continue walking through this awakening, your own spirit has been preparing for a chapter that requires more faith than fear. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. Sometimes life has a remarkable way of placing gentle reminders in our path just when we need them most. Perhaps you've noticed repeating numbers like 111, 222, 444, or 777 appearing during moments when your thoughts become especially reflective. Many people see these moments as symbolic invitations to pause, breathe, and reconnect with hope. They are not guarantees of what will happen next, but they can serve as meaningful reminders to stay open to growth, gratitude, and the possibility that your story is still unfolding. Your soulmate has been experiencing similar moments. A familiar melody unexpectedly captures their attention. An old photograph resurfaces. A conversation with a stranger unexpectedly echoes something they once shared with you. Individually, these moments may seem ordinary. Together, they have become impossible to ignore. Each one gently encourages them to look inward rather than continue running outward. They are beginning to understand that some questions cannot be answered by staying busy. Some truths only become clear in stillness. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. There have been mornings when they woke up carrying a feeling they couldn't explain. Nothing dramatic happened, yet something felt different. It was as though a quiet weight had shifted inside them. They began reflecting on choices they once defended without hesitation. They revisited conversations they thought they had forgotten. They recognized moments where fear quietly made decisions that love never would have made. This realization has not been easy. Growth rarely is. It asks us to admit where we could have acted with greater courage. It invites us to release old versions of ourselves without shame, trusting that becoming wiser is part of being human. Your soulmate is walking through that process now. They are not becoming perfect. They are becoming honest. And honesty has a way of opening doors that pride could never unlock. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. While they have been learning to face themselves with greater compassion, you have been learning something equally important: how to find peace even when every answer hasn't arrived yet. Think back to the person you were at the beginning of this journey. You may have searched constantly for signs, replayed every memory, questioned every silence, and wondered if waiting would ever make sense. Today, something has changed. You are discovering that your value does not depend on another person's timeline. You are realizing that your heart deserves kindness whether someone else recognizes it immediately or not. That inner stability is one of the greatest gifts you could have received during this season. It means that whatever happens next, you are approaching it from a place of greater wisdom instead of desperation. Growth has quietly rewritten the way you carry yourself. You may not always notice it, but the people around you likely do. There is a calmness beginning to replace the restlessness that once followed you. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Imagine two travelers climbing different sides of the same mountain. For a long time, each believes they are walking alone. They cannot see the other's path because the mountain itself stands between them. Yet with every step upward, the distance slowly decreases. They do not need to force the mountain to disappear. They simply need to keep moving with patience. Eventually, both reach a place where the horizon opens, and what once seemed impossible suddenly becomes visible. Whether or not your own story unfolds exactly this way, the image offers an important reminder: meaningful change often happens gradually, and we rarely recognize its full significance until we look back. Your soulmate's journey resembles that climb. Every challenge has been inviting them to become more authentic. Every setback has been encouraging greater humility. Every quiet moment has been teaching them that vulnerability is not weakness but strength. They are beginning to understand that speaking honestly requires more courage than remaining silent. That understanding is changing them from the inside out. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. There is also something happening within your own intuition. You may notice that certain fears no longer hold the same power they once did. Instead of chasing certainty, you are becoming more comfortable embracing the present moment. That does not mean you have stopped caring. It means you are discovering that hope and peace can exist together. One does not have to replace the other. In fact, hope becomes healthier when it grows alongside acceptance rather than anxiety. This is why your current season matters so much. It is shaping the kind of heart that can receive joy without clinging to it and navigate uncertainty without being consumed by it. These lessons extend far beyond any single relationship. They become part of who you are. They influence every friendship, every dream, every future opportunity. Nothing you have learned has been wasted. Every experience has become part of the wisdom you now carry. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has reached a point where memories no longer feel like something to escape. Instead, they have become invitations to understand themselves more deeply. They remember moments when they wished they had spoken differently, listened more carefully, or acted with greater honesty. Rather than remaining trapped by regret, they are beginning to see those memories as opportunities for growth. This shift in perspective is significant because genuine transformation begins the moment a person chooses responsibility over blame. They are no longer focused on rewriting the past. They are becoming more interested in living truthfully in the present. That change may seem quiet from the outside, but it has enormous power. It creates space for conversations that once felt impossible. It opens the door to forgiveness, understanding, and new beginnings built on stronger foundations than before. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. As this chapter continues unfolding, remember that life rarely follows the exact timeline we imagine. Some seasons feel longer than we expected. Some answers arrive in forms we never anticipated. Yet even in uncertainty, there is room for gratitude. There is room to appreciate the person you have become through every challenge, every disappointment, and every unexpected blessing. Whether your path leads toward reconciliation, a meaningful conversation, or simply a deeper understanding of yourself, the growth you have experienced will remain yours forever. No one can take away the resilience you have built or the compassion you have gained. Those qualities are part of your story now. They are evidence that even difficult seasons can produce beautiful outcomes. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. The next chapter is approaching quietly, not with fear but with possibility. It may begin with a conversation, an unexpected encounter, or a moment of clarity that changes how both of you see the journey you've been on. Whatever form it takes, let it find you with an open heart rather than a guarded one. Continue choosing patience over panic, kindness over bitterness, and faith in your own growth over endless worry about what you cannot control. Because sometimes the greatest revelation is not simply hearing another person's truth, it is realizing how much stronger, wiser, and more compassionate you have become while waiting to hear it. And just when you believe you finally understand why this path unfolded the way it did, an unexpected moment is about to reveal one final piece of the story, one that could change the way both hearts see the future forever. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. If you've stayed with this message until now, then perhaps your heart has already begun recognizing something your mind is still trying to understand. Every meaningful journey reaches a turning point where silence can no longer carry the weight of what has been left unsaid. This is that turning point. Whether you see this as a symbolic reflection, an inspiring story, or simply a moment of encouragement, allow yourself to imagine what happens when someone finally stops running from the truth they've carried for far too long. Your soulmate has spent countless days convincing themselves that keeping everything inside was the safest choice. They believed that if they remained quiet long enough, the feelings would fade, the memories would soften, and life would return to normal. Instead, the opposite happened. Every season that passed only made the truth clearer. Every attempt to move forward without facing it created an emptiness that no distraction could fill. Sometimes the heart doesn't ask for perfection. Sometimes it asks only for honesty. That realization has become impossible for them to ignore. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Think about the sunrise after a long night. The light does not rush. It does not force the darkness away. It simply arrives, and suddenly everything that was hidden becomes visible. In many ways, emotional truth works the same way. It cannot be rushed, and it cannot be forced, but once it arrives, pretending not to see it becomes nearly impossible. Your soulmate has entered that kind of season. They are beginning to see their own story with new eyes. Moments they once dismissed now seem meaningful. Conversations they barely remembered now return with surprising clarity. They are realizing that the connection they shared with you helped shape who they are becoming. Whether your paths ultimately come together or continue in different directions, they can no longer deny the impact that connection has had on their life. It has become part of their story. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. During this time, you may also notice your own perspective changing. The questions that once filled you with anxiety may now invite quiet reflection instead. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" you may find yourself asking, "What has this experience taught me?" That shift is powerful. It marks the difference between living inside pain and growing through it. Every challenge has strengthened your resilience. Every disappointment has expanded your compassion. Every unanswered question has encouraged you to trust yourself more deeply. Those gifts often arrive quietly, and because they arrive gradually, we sometimes overlook how valuable they truly are. Yet they are preparing you for whatever comes next, not by promising a particular outcome, but by helping you meet the future with greater confidence and peace. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. There is something remarkable about the way people change when they stop trying to protect an old version of themselves. Your soulmate is beginning to let go of the image they thought they had to maintain. Pride once whispered that vulnerability was dangerous. Fear insisted that silence was safer than honesty. But experience has become a patient teacher. They have learned that avoiding difficult conversations often creates deeper loneliness than having them. They have discovered that pretending not to care never truly protects a heart that still feels deeply. These realizations have not come overnight. They have been shaped by ordinary days, unexpected setbacks, quiet mornings, and reflective evenings. Growth rarely announces itself with dramatic music. More often, it unfolds in simple moments until one day a person realizes they no longer recognize the fearful version of themselves they once accepted as normal. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. Have you noticed how life sometimes places gentle reminders exactly when you need them? A meaningful quote appears during a difficult week. A familiar song unexpectedly plays while you're driving. A conversation with a friend answers a question you never asked out loud. Some people experience repeating numbers like 111, 333, or 888 during these moments and choose to see them as personal reminders to slow down, reflect, and remain hopeful. Whether those moments feel spiritually significant to you or simply encourage mindfulness, they can become invitations to pause instead of rushing through life. They remind us that meaning is often found not only in extraordinary events but also in the quiet details we almost overlook. Your soulmate has begun noticing those quiet details more than ever before. Instead of dismissing them, they are allowing themselves to become curious. Curiosity has replaced certainty. Reflection has replaced avoidance. And with every passing day, honesty feels less frightening than pretending. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Imagine carrying a letter in your pocket for years without ever opening it. You know it contains words that matter, but fear convinces you that reading them might change everything. Eventually, you realize that not opening the letter has already changed everything. The mystery itself becomes heavier than the truth inside. In many ways, that is where your soulmate now finds themselves. They have carried emotions they rarely expressed and questions they rarely explored. They have spent more energy avoiding those feelings than they would have spent acknowledging them. Now they are beginning to understand that freedom often starts with one honest conversation, whether with another person or with ourselves. That realization is not about grand promises. It is about authenticity. It is about choosing courage over comfort and truth over endless uncertainty. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. While your soulmate has been finding their voice, you have been discovering something equally valuable. Your own worth has never depended on another person's readiness. That lesson may have been one of the hardest to learn, but it is also one of the most important. You have continued growing, healing, and building a life that reflects your values. You have learned that hope does not require abandoning self-respect. You have realized that patience does not mean standing still. You have become someone who can love deeply while also protecting your own peace. That balance is rare, and it is beautiful. It allows you to welcome meaningful moments without becoming consumed by them. It reminds you that your future is larger than any single chapter, no matter how important that chapter may feel today. Listen carefully, because this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. As both of your journeys continue unfolding, one truth becomes increasingly clear: growth changes the way we recognize opportunity. Conversations that once seemed impossible begin to feel natural. Apologies that once felt overwhelming become acts of strength rather than weakness. Forgiveness becomes less about forgetting the past and more about refusing to let it define the future. These changes rarely happen all at once, but when they do begin, they often create momentum that surprises everyone involved. One small step toward honesty encourages another. One sincere moment of vulnerability opens the door to deeper understanding. One choice to listen instead of assume transforms the direction of an entire relationship. Whether that relationship becomes a renewed connection or simply a meaningful chapter of personal growth, truth has a way of bringing peace that avoidance never could. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. Continue moving forward with an open heart and steady faith in your own journey. Celebrate the person you are becoming instead of waiting for someone else to define your happiness. Let every experience, joyful or painful, become part of the wisdom you carry into tomorrow. Trust that meaningful conversations happen best when both people are ready to participate with honesty, respect, and compassion. Whatever the next chapter brings, you are better prepared for it than you realize. You have already survived uncertainty. You have already discovered strength you never knew you possessed. And just beyond this season of reflection lies a moment neither of you expected, a moment that will ask for courage, openness, and one final decision that could reshape everything you believed about this connection. But before that decision is made, one unexpected event is about to bring both of your journeys into the same moment, and nothing will feel quite the same after that.